welcome to PCMGuns. What I've got here is a rifle from the Haenel. It's called the Jager NXT. This is a standard model. There's also a DS model which is designed for women and men of smaller stature, which is slightly, should we say, more delicate or slimmer, and it has a raised comb here, but that's the only real difference. And it's a straight pull. Normally when you think of straight pulls you think of Blazers, R8, Merkel Helix, Strasser, that sort of thing. In fact, it's a fixed barrel gun. Now I see that in some ways a good thing. A lot of people say, oh yeah, I'd like to buy a Blazer, I'd love a fixed barrel version, and this thing addresses that. And the price reflects it. This is a shade under £2,000, which compared to a Blazer these days, even an entry-level Blazer, is very, very competitive indeed. And it does, if you want a fast action, you've got it. But you don't want the flip-flap of changing barrels and things, then I can see the attraction. Haenel do pay homage to sort of the green thing with the rifle. All the stocks are laminate, they're wood, plywood, all mashed together with an adhesive under pressure so you can colour it how you want it. And Haenel actually say, well, it's better than chopping down a walnut tree to make a stock. And this day and age, the way the world's going, it's not a bad thing. All the plastic or polymer parts in the gun, like this 5-round magazine, are made from a cellulose and tree resin mix. So again, less sort of, should I say, harmful sort of chemicals and products compared to what you could get. And also they say this is a green barrel, which is optimized for non-lead bullets. I tested one before when it first came out in 2022 and in 30-06, and I rather liked it. So being a straight pull, it's got a decocker. It's a little bit quirky just how it works, same as the bolt release is a little bit different until you get used to it. You get 3 calibers, 308, 30-06 and 300 Win Mag. The 308 and 30-06 have a 20.5 inch barrel nominal, and a 300 Win Mag a 24 inch barrel, which is sensible. Twist rates, 308's 1 in 12, 30-06 1 in 11, and Win Mag is 1 in 10. The bolt system's rotary in its gear driven. We'll see when we take it apart. It is a little bit on the different side. All rifles come with the iron sights, which Haenel call their eye system. The muzzle is threaded 15x1. Comes with QD sling swivels, but they are dedicated to the rifle, so they're not the sort of the classic QD stud taking a Harris type loop. And there's no bipod attachment, which I think would have been nice. A lot of people like bipods, but I do see this gun very much, from my hunting perspective, more of a driven game gun, or if you're sort of moose hunting where it's all again reasonably close and you've got biggish calibers. This is in 30-06. Also, like, the receiver comes with 2 sections of Picatinny machined into it. The only thing I don't like is that there's only 2 slots on the rear one and 3 in the front one. It's nice if they had 3 slots on each. So the bolt system is unusual, the way it works, but when you actually look at how a Blazer works, in some ways they've done the same thing but in a very, very different manner. A lot of people like having a straight pull action because they are technically faster. I'm not saying they are, because I've got bolt guns that I can keep up with my Blazer all day long with the bolt gun, but in certain situations the straight woof woof back and front action, it can be pleasing. Say mount wise, so before you got this, you can put traditional scope on here, you can put a red dot, doesn't really matter. But overall, I'm quite impressed with it. I don't know what the take-up's been on the rifle because I haven't seen many around. You see quite a few Blazers and quite a few Merkels and things in the hands of normal hunters, but I haven't met anybody that has actually bought a Jager NXT. I don't know why, but they're here. They are well worth a look, and now we'll just dive a little bit deeper into the gun. Let's look at the decocking and safety system in more detail. You have 3 pictographs here. On the left you have a white bullet which allows you to open up the action by pressing in on the side of the roller, which allows the action to open up. When you chamber, you push forward. As you can see, the cocking handle is at an angle, which means the action is locked, there's a round in the chamber, but you can't fire it. To fire the rifle, what you have to do is push the lever fully forward so it's vertical. Then you can fire. Once you've fired, recock. So effectively this is like a decocker, but if you are shooting and the shot doesn't present itself, all you need to do to open up is pull that back like so. Then you're back to that sort of semi-safe mode. If you want this in a safer mode, you can roll this lever to the right and it locks the action solid. So you're walking along, you see an opportunity, first thing to do is flick it off, then push that forward to fire. I question whether you actually need this, because this is in itself is a safety in its own right, but it's belt and braces, and I can see the reason for it. So when you look at the rifle, you know instantly with pictogram in relation to the red arrow where everything is. So here the rear sight has three like sort of day glow type inserts into it, and it's very easy to align. And the front sight is red, but in this case you can adjust for elevation with the rear sight for windage. The muzzle is threaded, and I have moved the front sight rearwards so I can fit a muzzle mounted moderator. Comes off, just wind it on and it's there. And I do like the fact that a lot of rifles have their, if they are on iron sights, then they're fixed onto the gun, and taking them off is a pain and it's just not worth the effort. But this way, if you just want to go scope only, then you've got the option. The magazine is a conventional 5-round staggered column box. There's the catch, you press it, pops out like that, easy to fill and load. Nice little feature is you can flick this button to there and the magazine catch is locked. Get to the middle, pop it. Little things like this I like on rifles like this. Bolt removal is just a tiny bit different. So you open up the action, you look there, you can see where my finger is, there's a little catch. You push it down all the way, rotate the bolt and pull it out. And to get it back in, engage it like so, press in the catch, and that's it. And you can see here how the bolt is actually rotated. There's a set of bevel gears and they engage with each other, and as you move the lever it rotates the bolt head. Okay, it's got the rifle rigged, got a red dot on it as you might use it for boar shooting. I tend to put one of these butt bags on rifles like this, 30-06, just takes a bit of sting away, but we shall see. So, action's open, 5 rounds. Said the bolt's there, action's locked, not cocked. So all we do from here on in is bring it up to the shoulder, push. So what do I think? I like it. Compact, not too heavy. Recoil is pretty good in 30-06, even without a moderator on. Say I've got it rigged for sort of pig shooting at the moment with a red dot. We can put a low power scope on it. Length pull's good, feels good. Love these iron sights. Perhaps you'd never use them, but they really stick out well. They can give you good accuracy up to 100 yards. Comparing to my R8, I think that the R8 has a smoother action. The decocker's a pain in the R8 because you've got to drop the rifle down to push it up. It's quite hard. This is perhaps a little bit easier, but there's more to it than just decocking, because the decocker is this really. And I think that you've really got to push it into battery hard, and that perhaps doesn't compare quite so well. You practice with it, you can get good. And it's fast, nice capacity magazine. Love the fact you can put on what you like, integral. So gets my vote. Oh yeah, plus you can move the sight back or take it off and put a reflex module on if you want to, and I imagine how most people in the UK would hunt with it. I think that Haenel would be well advised to think about some slightly longer barrel lengths, which you'll see with the velocity and energy figures. But it's still doing well. I mean, 30-06 is a meaty cartridge. 308's not that far behind it. But I just think a little bit more barrel, for me, 22 inches would have probably been good. Just squeeze a bit more out of it. Okay. Down to the facts and figures. I used 3 loads. Haenel Precision Hunter, which is a 178 grain ELDX, which is their super duper high BC bullet. Classic 180 grain PPU soft nose, probably what most people think of with 30-06, a big old lumpy bullet. And Gecko's 165 grain Express, which is a ballistic tip, which I use this in my morale, and it's not too bad at all. Okay, let's start with the worst and go to the best. PPU, sadly, shot 2.793 inches. I shot it twice and it did virtually the same thing. It wasn't really a group, but just the rifle didn't like it. It's got the green barrel on it, and maybe that be the case, I don't know. But with the PPU, velocity wise, high was 2524, low was 2522, average was 2523, with a ridiculously low standard deviation of 1. Energy was 2558 foot-pounds, respectable but a bit low, due no doubt to the slightly shorter barrel. So the average was 2523, PPU quote 2700 feet per second, so that shows how much you lose from an extra 2 or 3 inches of tube. Haenel Precision Hunter was high 2576, low 2530, average 2555, with a standard deviation of 23.2. So the speed was 2555, they quote 2750. Again, a lot of velocity loss there. And the group was 1.119. Which is not bad, call it an inch roughly, well, not too bad. Acceptable MOA, say. Right, Gecko came out top, 165 grain ballistic tip Express. High 2696, low 2677, average 2686, SD 7, which is good. They quote 2,800 feet per second. Again, a chunk of speed not there. Energy 2656, the only load to actually get over 600, and the group was 0.906. Again, on the MOA sort of thing. It might shoot better with non-lead. For the money, if you want a straight pull, no frills, and it just works very well, then just under £2,000 is not a bad price for what is, like all straight pulls, a very specialised rifle. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, tell your friends. Like and support my channel. If you want to speak to me, it's pmoore.shootingsports at gmail.com. And as always, shoot straight and be safe, and I'll see you again soon.